right. Welcome everybody to the first episode of Web Gauntlet. I'm Shawn at Twitter. Yay, thank you. Right off the bat, we're starting great with some clear. The Zoom is not being seen. We're like this. I'm gonna do a quick little repair here. There you go. Take the time to set it all up before, but then you got to do it live every time. That's okay.
Right?
We're used to that.
That's Zoom for you. It's not
Yeah.
like it's meant for this, but we use it like that anyway.
Exactly. For a long time, you and I. So we, rehashing old things for new viewers. Hopefully, we're going to get lots of new people checking out the stream with this new Web Gauntlet idea I have going. And so let's just start with a rundown.
Sure.
Where we all started, John. I think first, let's tell me a little bit about yourself, what you're doing right now, what you're working on.
Cool. Yeah. John Spalding, live streamer since 2016. I work for G1NBC, which is a company out of Livingston, Michigan. G1NBC's mission is to create your local hometown broadcasts in every county in the United States. So I do live streaming for them. I also run and do a lot of posting on their social media platforms, and I do a lot of onboarding, getting people, and when I say people, it could be station affiliates, channel owners, content providers, to know about G1NBC.com and get them a content provider kind of memorandum of understanding on how we work together. So those are the main things that I do for G1NBC. Right now, I'm really focused on Cuyahoga County because that's where I live. And so we have a good team of streamers and posters and content providers that are already on board. And we're working on getting a good group that's coming on board soon. So we'll have more from them coming up, definitely. As far as two shows that I do two shows currently that I produce. One is called Recovery Unplugged Live, and that is with a filmmaker, creator, director, Amy McCorkle. And Amy McCorkle has a diagnosis of bipolar disorder. And so we do a show every Monday where we bring in creatives and talk about how they use the creative process, whether it is writing, filmmaking, editing, streaming, singing, to deal with, talk about, or be better advocates for people that have mental health issues. And then the other one I do is a Cleveland Browns show, which it's a Wednesday night quarterbacks. We go Wednesdays during the NFL year, and we're doing a 2 or 3 episode kickoff to the NFL season, covering what the Browns are going to do in the draft and what they're going to do for free agency. What they did for free agency and what they're going to do for the draft. And then we tailgate, so we're all season ticket holders, the people who produce the show. And so we do interviews in the Muni lot, the main tailgating lot, for the Browns. So the show is we come in, we broadcast a couple interviews, and then we come in live via Zoom. It's open. Any Browns fan can join us, and we just bullshit about the Browns.
I gotcha. Cool. And so first off, the Recovery Unplugged, is it?
Mm-hmm.
That's been running for a while, right? You've been doing that.
Recovery Unplugged Live is also on its 5th season. We've done like hundreds of episodes. We actually won. Amy submitted them to a bunch of festivals last year. We won 4 awards for our shows, just based on the guests that we have and things like that. So, yeah.
Well, congrats. That's cool. Thanks. Yeah. And then the Browns thing, I mean, how is that going? Are the Browns, I mean, I'm very particular. I don't.
We're not shitty anymore.
Look at a lot. Well, that's good. I've heard, but you got to hear it from the fans.
So we think we've made it.
Okay. It's a start. We're just trying to make sure that Russell doesn't get tackled a sack.
Is he going to stay? I mean, I thought he made that pitch.
You heard rumors for like a solid 2 weeks, but it sounds like they're trying to get him to stay. Couldn't work out a trade. I don't know how much it was like we got to keep Russ, and more like we got to get what we think we deserve for him, and they couldn't find the deal. I think it's probably more that, but whatever, we'll take it. Hopefully we can get some young bucks to protect him, and that's how we've been trying to do it. So
I love the Browns, but the Seahawks have my favorite uniforms in the NFL.
They're nice. The new ones.
I just love the new ones. Yeah.
Now you're talking the dark blue, or you're talking to like that neon green
Both of
situation.
them. I like both
Okay.
of them.
All right. All right. Yeah, I like them. The colors were all over around here, so it gets crazy. But I like the blue too. This is nice. So yeah. All right. Cool. So first of all, usually what I do here is okay. Well, let's just keep going.
Okay.
So that's where you started. That's what you're doing, and
Yeah.
then
I
we
started with
met.
you though.
Did you?
Well,
I don't know this origin story. Like you
on
started
Bernie
streaming for the first time,
2016
or
TV.
that? So you hadn't been doing.
I had not been doing any live streaming until then.
I
I
had no
was doing
idea.
mostly like kind of video editing and interviewing
Okay.
people and like
So you were
taking.
still working with G1NBC?
Yeah, I was still making
Gotcha.
videos and
Okay.
stuff. I wasn't live streaming though.
Okay. So explain your background, like, because I always see you or have something to do with like film projects as well. What's
Yeah,
that?
yeah. So I worked with we work with our content providers. They're
That's
either
also
film.
G1NBC.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
and I did
Cool.
videos for them. I would do interviews, but I would do in-person interviews and post them rather than doing it
Right.
live. And then when I learned the potential and possibilities for live streaming, I fully switched because it's
Gotcha.
easier for me. And then thank goodness because the pandemic hit, and then it's like I'm telling people about Zoom and broadcasting Zoom live, and the pandemic hit, and everybody's using Zoom for meetings, for work, for live streaming. So
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's almost I don't know if catch it's almost a catch 22 because it's like before it was like all right, not everyone's into it. You kind of got to sell people on it. Pandemic hits, everyone's trying to scramble to figure it out.
mhm.
And it's like, what was the better one? Should I have had my hustle mentality before and try and get everyone on before this? Or is because it's like, is it flooded right now? I can't tell whether it's harder or easier to get jobs and work it's easier to get people's ear. People are more willing to listen, but to actually convert it into clients, I don't know if it's me or any feeling on that right now.
It's wide open and it's tough. It's just like you said. It's a guerrilla environment. So
Sure.
and people that have that. What did you call it? That mentality. The go. I forget what you just called
Go
it.
getter, hustler, something.
The hustle. So whatever your
Yeah, yeah,
hustle is,
yeah.
you're a sole proprietor and you have to own all aspects of marketing, sales, promotion, content, delivery, recording, all that stuff. And so you really have to master that, and it's tough. It's still tough. And the interesting thing is we are competing now with large media companies as well who are doing one-off videos for their brand or creating shows easily, doing interviews. So yeah,
Exactly.
it's tough. You have to have a team, I think, or you have to be self-funded, or you have to do that hustle and manage all of those aspects as if it was your own business.
Right. Which is funny. I just had this conversation with my wife because we agreed that it's not a hustle unless you're making money from it.
Yeah,
Then it's a hobby. So right now, I've been doing a hobby for 4 years,
yeah,
basically.
that's what I tell people too. Like, I tell people with G1NBC or people that come in, they're like, "So are you making money? So are you doing this? So are you doing that?" And I'm like, "I will make
Long
money.
run, hopefully.
I'm ready to make money. I want
Yeah.
to."
Why? Have you heard something?
Yeah, but that's and I think that's a good transition to the next one. Is that's also why I use the Hive blockchain and
Okay.
integrate all my videos. So I use Vim TV. That's where we're live right now on my restream of the show, and all of my videos I use Caster. So all of my videos get broadcast at the same time on Facebook, the G1NBC Live YouTube, and on my Vim account. And so then they get posted to that account as well. So it's not earth-shattering, groundbreaking money, but you get upvotes for your content, and so that's good.
Interesting. Yeah,
And if
it's
it's good content, then
yeah. Well, that's okay. So let's go back to the beginning here. So you started when I started on Bernie 2016 TV.
hmm
Yeah, mine was I was just at a Sanders event locally in the Seattle area, knew of the channel. Their stream went down, and I just picked it up a on my phone. I believe you might have been one of the hosts of that stream. Can't remember who was involved in that one. It might have been a British guy, John Ennis. But yeah, anyways, that was my first dive into it. Became a part of that team. Where with you that broke it up into Global Engagement Network
hmm
eventually.
yep,
Um, and Political Revolution TV first, I guess, which was John Ennis's thing, which I still enjoyed because we were producing daily news shows, doing lots of interviews. Janine Calkin, a Rhode Island senator, was part of the team. It was a real cool team we had over there, and that branched off into Global Engagement Network, which led to lots of cool civics forums. I really liked. I
Yeah,
think
that
that
was
was
fun.
by far the coolest thing we did there was
Those
those months.
monthlies we did, the monthly panels were really fun.
Yeah, that's the one thing I think we could recreate in today's atmosphere, and it
Hmm.
would get some traction. So that's definitely cool. And so we went from there to blockchain technology.
Yeah, we
We,
all landed in Steam. I think Mickey and
yeah,
I landed on Steam. We said, hey, we want Shawn to come into Steam. We got you on there, and then we met Patrick, Ulrich, and Eric Wilson, and all the cool people that came on the steaming pile. That was a
yeah,
whole
yeah,
lot of fun. That was a cool journey. We got
that
I got
was
to meet a lot. I mean, we had a lot of witnesses on and a lot of people that were really involved in Steam. I even
it,
had a Steam EU. There was some streamers, Team Humble and Pensive, who started their own. You know, we just did it. We used to stream at night, I think, and then we did
right.
The Steam EU version during the day because of the time change and the time difference. But that was cool. And then Steam got bought out by Justin's son. He took over all the witnesses, and the Hive blockchain basically came out of that because they said, "Fuck you."
Right. Yeah.
But fuck you, multimillionaire. You're not taking our blockchain. We think most people will come with us, and now the Hive blockchain has been born. So
Right.
I
And I
tried the
guess I got
honeypot for a while. I tried to do the
honeypot.
honeypot. That's what I
Okay.
called it. If you look on my restream of this show, you'll see my terrible honeypot logo in the bottom of the
Okay.
recording.
And what's that referring to? Sorry, I'm lost.
It's just one where, like how we did the steaming pile, that was just what
Oh,
I
okay.
created.
The
I just came
honeypot.
up with
Gotcha. The
calling it
hive,
the
the honeypot.
honeypot.
I
Yeah,
gotcha.
that's it.
You could say the colony,
And it
something the
didn't
honeypot.
last. I tried to get people to come on and
Uh-huh.
tried to do it, but you weren't streaming anymore at the time.
Hmm.
Mickey totally stopped post like being involved. I really don't. I think he's working and concentrating on family. I don't really
Yeah.
know, honestly. And
Yeah.
then
I
Patrick and
actually
Eric.
reached out. We're gonna hopefully do a show. So I
Good.
reached out starting to reach out to the old team because I figure that's a good first
I'd love
group.
to have everyone. I'd love to do a reunion show called the
Okay, maybe that's
Honeypot
the idea.
and have people on there. I know
Yeah,
people
at
would be
least
down. We just
catch
did it
up.
for a long time, and I think
Yeah.
we all just kind of got burned out and just
Well,
had
and
to
it kind
take
of
a
worked out
break.
organically. It's not like any of us were like, "This is how we're gonna grow the show,"
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so I don't really know. I wish I could recreate it. I think it's really just about paying attention to your guests, letting them become part of the conversation. So I'm trying to figure out how to kind of work that magic on this kind of show. So
Sure.
yeah, yeah,
Cool.
and eventually it will be. I'll have more guests on and stuff like that once I get comfortable with the one-on-ones and stuff like that. I'm supposed to have it so like all my keys, so the uh all the logos on the side kind of, or the topics rather,
Hmm.
they all light up automatically when I switch topics. But of course, I don't, this dreaded cannot find local.ini uh, OBS error makes it so
Oh.
that I can't go into settings,
Hmm.
or it crashes every time. Half the time the keys don't work, the macro keys and shortcuts. So trying to figure that out, but I didn't want to cancel. So I'm just like,
Are you
the
using a
show must
different
go on.
platform to bring that stuff over, or is it all set up through OBS, like when you like your rundown and stuff, and how it's supposed to have automated highlighting of the topics?
Yeah, so I am using something called Noobs Commander, which is something YouTuber created to help with building a macro on a separate keyboard. So I have a whole separate keyboard that it helps the computer recognize as a separate keyboard instead of just an
Hmm.
extension of your. I use a laptop, so it makes it so that I can use that and still have something to type on. So that is the one external thing, but it's not running anything. You
Okay.
create a script with it, save it, and then you
And then
import
you
that
put the
script.
script into OBS.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha, gotcha.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. And whereas like I have a Stream Deck and it won't let you filter, it won't let you toggle filters for whatever reason.
Hmm.
They still
Hmm.
haven't let you do that. So this is kind of, I think, kind of what birthed the idea from this guy who's his name's Nutty on YouTube, and he basically built Noobs Commander so you could toggle filters so that when I click the button, it filters the green out into the gray and skips to the next one and highlights it so on down, and it'll also automatically bring up a headline at the bottom of the screen
Okay.
that correlates with the story, so it'll like all happen at once, and it was working fine until like 3 days ago.
Damn.
Yeah, that's how it works. So we're just, like I said, show must go on. I figured we'll fine tune it as we go, dial it in. So
Gotcha.
all right, so let's see here next. Oh yeah, so Hive Blockchain, that's where we were. That's how we ended up here.
Yeah.
D Live TVs where I ended up. I guess that's where we kind of splintered off again. Is there's a lot of drama on the blockchain and in crypto,
Yeah.
and lots of people kind of doing their own thing, trying to line their own pockets and whatnot. So I thought it was important maybe to stay and try and build the base I had on D Live, but it turns out a lot of that was just weren't the real fans. It wasn't like Steaming Pile followers. I got enough followers to get partner, but it was a lot of out there hustling, follow for follows, which really don't get you anything except for like a badge, but it doesn't get you people popping in. I was still forever less than 5 concurrent streamers, and I'm doing like these high end productions. So it got, you get burnt out on it.
Sure.
But I wasn't, in retrospect, I wasn't really working on monetization, promotion. Now I'm watching all these videos. People are saying, yeah, it's great if you need original content. It needs to be good, but it's still like 80% promotion. There's so much shit out there. You've got to figure out how to bother people without bothering them. So that's kind of where the stage I'm at.
You have to get them. You have to get a show that'll have people be interested enough to go to a new platform to watch it.
Mm-hmm. And I've been having that discussion. Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I've been wondering, like, I'm like, do I need to niche it? How niche does content need to be? Do I need a MMA show? Do I need a show that I thought like a show called Weird Science that's just exactly like this, but it's cool science stuff, and it's me, another guy, and like a hot smart chick, right? Like just like kind of playing off the show, right? I was like, oh, that's great. But then it's like, God, now I'm like, I have the MMA show, I've got the weird news show, I still want to talk to regular people. It's like it's too much. So I'm like, okay, Web Gauntlet. I have a guest on, I do research, I try and have topics they're going to be interested in talking about, and then it becomes more like Joe Rogan, but shorter and more structured. Bring them on for a short interview, get into some topics to keep the conversation going, call an end to it. And also, like, if you get people that are talkative and stuff like that, you can be like, okay, time to go to the next.
And you're going live now on YouTube?
YouTube's my main one. Again, watching a lot of videos. I guess Twitch is pretty... a lot of like the platforms like Twitch, I feel like D Live is the same way, where it's kind of an island. It's hard you have to be there to grow.
Right.
And it's hard heavy. It's gamer heavy, and it's hard to get people like, you're not getting a lot of like, oh, check out my Twitch stream, and you're tweeting that, and you're getting a lot of people coming through. It's like you got to build it organically on Twitch. But I guess a good way that a lot of guys are doing is on YouTube. There's a whole bunch of video makers that are, just pushing their stream from YouTube. They're doing their videos on YouTube, and then they're saying, oh, hey, but you can catch me live if you want to ask questions, talk shop, anything you need to know about my stream and what I'm doing. I'm live every Friday night on Twitch, and that's how they're building their Twitch stream. So I kind of like that idea, just using it as the live engagement party part.
Right.
Yeah. And then maybe that's when you do I was thinking like a BYOB, a show called BYOB, which is a panel show, like Seeming Panel Pile, where there's like a set group of people that are always welcome to come and go. And that brings the community out, and then people start being special guests and hopefully become more part of the regular community. It worked before. I think maybe that's the best way to start building a community up again. Which is why I decided to start streaming on the YouTube channel that all this started on. That Jen and everything was on, because I figured this was the closest. I have 44 subscribers there. I'm not doing straight political stuff and civics-based stuff, but I'm going to be talking about it during these shows, during these interviews. So I figured this is the closest it's going to get to that content.
Yeah. And then if shows branch off out of that, then that's a good thing.
Exactly. So
I like the sponsors the sponsor here piece
Yeah.
you have too. That's awesome.
Yeah. I figured that's a good spot. And sponsor wise, I mean, there's some local guys. I know a local friend who used to drum in my band who has a brewery. So I'll just start with that. Like, nothing. I'll just put your name up on it.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah, like
I mean, nothing
it's
other than
a
that. Send
half
me
hour
a
to an
beer.
hour show.
You can send me a six
Your
pack of
logo
beer.
shows
I'll
up,
review it. I'll talk good about it on stream, and boom, I have my first
and then you
sponsorship.
can share their website, in the
Exactly.
description.
Exactly. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. Yeah, I'm excited. It'll be fun. Next on Friday, I've got like my old guitarist on to talk music. So we're gonna like watch some music videos and that sort of thing. So it should be fun.
Cool. Are you still using? Do you use Hive at all? Still, do you post there at all, or do anything there?
When I think so, when I first started this like relaunch, I am on unemployment, so I have till September basically. And so I'm like, okay, let's fucking do this. Now's the time. Go. And I was doing lots of over promising, but not actually moving on anything, which I'm
Okay.
guilty of in the
I'm
past,
guilty
certainly.
of that too. Sure.
Yeah. And so I think at some point I was like, okay, let's post over here too, because this is like a very niche place. And I believe my content's good enough that it's really just a matter of discoverability. And so I was like, okay, well, maybe it's more discoverable if I do. I think I posted something on DTube,
Okay.
um, on Hive or not.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So DTube I did, which is like a YouTube alternative for blockchain stuff. And since it's the more niche, smaller community, I thought, okay, maybe it'll catch on. Literally posted it, never went back to even see how it went. Because I don't know. It's one of those things. I think, oh, what's going on there? Hold on a
Where'd
second.
you go? I miss you so. Seems
Okay.
like it's
Sorry.
been
My
forever that
my
you've been
Nikon
gone.
D3300 does
And now
not
your
have.
green screen's back. Is there you go.
There we go.
There you go.
Perfect. So my camera, I can't unless I have it on automatic zooms, it times out. That's all.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. What was I saying here?
I use I use I use Dbuzz. So Dbuzz
Okay.
is a new DApp. It's a new front end on Hive, and the cool thing about Dbuzz is it's like Twitter. It's intended to be 240 characters. You post it. There's a lot of links. There's a lot of links to people post links to their Hive blockchain posts that they've done, or
Okay.
they'll post other stuff. But you can, when you're making a buzz in Dbuzz, there's a little checkbox that you click, and it says post to Twitter. And so what it'll do is it'll carry over that text that you put in on Dbuzz, and once you post to Dbuzz, it posts to the blockchain. It'll bring up your Twitter window, and so you can basically repost the same thing that you put on there onto Twitter.
Okay.
And so
Okay. And
I
so
usually put
when
out
I
my
see you
YouTube
posting,
links
that's
or my Vim links and stuff like that.
right. I see that. Okay.
And
Uh,
then the only other things I've really been doing, like they have a couple. There's a there's a ROI site called Cure Angel. They curate hivers and their posts and things like that. But if you delegate your hive power to them, you get a percentage. I think it's 13 or 16. You get a percentage of ROI in liquid hive when you
okay.
delegate. So you delegate power and you get back in return. Like I think I delegated 800 hive power, and so I get I think 7 cents or 8 cents in hive back a day into my account, like liquid into my
Right.
account. So I think that's a good way to make passive income. And then if you delegate to Leo Voter, Leo Finance is another Hive front end, really based on decentralized finance and taking that stuff to the next level. And
Okay.
so they have an account called Leo Voter, where if you delegate Hive power to them, you get back Leo tokens, and they use Leo tokens for all sorts of different trading and decentralized stuff on the Hive Engine kind of trading platform.
Nice. Okay. So, uh, can't hear me at all.
I can hear
What?
you. You can't hear
Huh.
you on the.
There we go. Look at that archaic visionary coming in on the pilot episode and saving the rest of the show. I wonder if the recording's okay. So I think the recording will
Who's
hear
Archaic
me.
Visionary?
Archaic Visionaries, an old friend. Okay, perfect.
Oh, he said he couldn't hear you?
He couldn't hear me. So I'm using a Motu audio interface and a loopback feature, so everyone can hear each other, but it wasn't going out. But it might be on the recording. Nonetheless, this is beautiful. I appreciate it. That's why I was like, John's the perfect first guest. He's used to
Well,
all
the
this
full
shit.
audio version is going to be on my recording of Web Gauntlet.
There you go. Exactly. Yeah, I'll share that all over the place.
Unfortunately, though, on my stream, they see me twice, and I feel bad for anyone who has to see me, let alone see me twice.
Yeah,
Because
I
it shows your video and of me with you, and then it shows my video.
right,
And
right.
I didn't take that. I'm sure there's a way that I could
Well,
fix
you
it.
could do it so
Oh yeah, I
that
could just adjust the window. I just didn't do it.
you could, yeah, adjust the window or just
Yeah.
show in Zoom, just show me permanently instead of whoever's speaking, right?
Oh, I think I thought about that, but I think if I turn my camera off, it'll turn it off in Zoom, so it won't show up in your window either. But no,
Uh,
I
you
think
might
I
be
can
right.
fix it here. Let me see if I can.
Yeah,
That's the
interesting.
cool thing about live streaming is you can actually just do this stuff while you're talking. Like while it makes it too easy. All right, so
Yeah,
there I fixed it. So now I don't. Now people don't have to see me twice. But
there you go.
the size of the screen's messed up.
I was trying to go. Okay, here. I'm gonna just do this here. Stinger. Boom. Thanks for popping in to check it out, Archaic. Hope all is well. All right, so here we are. And then the Zoom. It's so crazy that we went through and corrected the Zoom, and it just was like, I'm not gonna work.
My face is gone now.
I know. I decided. You said. No, hold on one sec. Um, window cap. Let's see if I can bring you in here for this next, because it'll be nice to have it big for everyone. There we go. All right, John. So we already talked football a bit. So you're no stranger to injuries. Football's brutal.
Yes.
And so I don't know. I assume you didn't have a chance to take a look at the details of this, but this weekend was a huge UFC fight, and actually, all right, hold on. And 3 titles on the line. First match back, or first card back to full capacity crowd in Florida, of course. And yeah, of course, but it was great as far as like the card went in action. It was really, really cool. Let's see here. I've been better. I've been dealing with. Yeah, surprised you didn't use studio mode for fading his camera in after the edit. Archaic, I like that. I like that. Holding me true. You're right. I should have. My production is
I need this
all over
guy
the place.
to. I need this guy to watch my streams and tell me what to do.
Yeah, he's a local friend. We've worked together on some at Studio 27,
Okay.
something like that.
Right
Yeah.
on.
Social 27. I said Studio 27. That's funny. All right. So story sidebar. We're all over the place today, Arcade.
Am I gonna get to see some of these knockouts? You gonna bring 'em
Absolutely.
up?
Absolutely. So what I'm doing here is going to here, graying that out. Again, this was all macro keyed up before Archaic, and then I got the dreaded cannot find local.ini. Now I can't do any macros, but show goes on. I'll figure it out next week. Until then, 1, 2, 3, we're on 4. Sports injuries. All right. Boom. So first off, what happened was in one of the undercard fights, main card, Chris Weidman, middleweight, was fighting Uriah Hall. He threw a leg kick and suffered a leg break.
Okay.
And we have seen him before.
It's not one of
The
those where
weird
you
thing,
can see the bone, is it?
no, it was not. Thankfully, no compound fracture, but it didn't feel good. That's for damn sure. And the weird thing is, the ironic thing is, there's been like 3 in the UFC. 2 of them involved this fighter.
Oh, wow.
was against Anderson Silva. He checked Anderson Silva's leg kick, and Silva's leg broke. Anderson Silva came back to fight, but also popped. And lots of people think that's connected, that, he made a comeback, but he needed, a little help, titanium rod in the leg. So this last Saturday night, Chris Weidman throws the leg kick, gets checked by Uriah Hall, snappity poo.
Ah.
Yeah. So weird karma, I guess, if you believe in that sort of thing.
I do.
Yeah. So let's check it out. NSFW, hide your eyes if you don't want to see it. But the question is, people are breaking down online, which one's worse? And in any context you want, like, which one would you rather
watch
have?
This.
Joe, where did land?
Oh my God! Joe, where did land? Right below the knee, right below the knee, and it immediately snaps in half. Come on, take a look at it here. Look at this.
I'm not gonna look, Joe. Just tell me.
It mirrored what happened with him and Anderson.
I have visceral reactions.
What happened? Here it is.
Say that again.
I have visceral reactions when I see those. Like, a visceral reaction is a reaction that you can feel.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
in your bones, you know what I mean? Like, I see those videos and I immediately, like, it's almost like that guy said. He's like, I'm not going to watch it. You just tell me what happens. Like, I almost can't watch it. It's tough.
Yeah, it's bad. Now, later that night,
Okay.
He's in excruciating pain. He's fine. Got the surgery, bar through the knee. They put a metal bar through the top of the knee, down through it. Later that night, huge knockout.
It really does not get any cleaner than this.
Yeah, Coach kept yelling.
It really does not get any cleaner than this.
Yeah,
He goes completely out.
Coach kept yelling.
And then he follows him up after this with a couple of hammer fists and stiffs him.
Oh, what a dick.
Well, possibly.
Is that allowed?
He's known for doing it. The guy that got knocked out's known for doing this.
Oh, okay.
And when they ask him, he'll say, super necessary. It was super. Did you should have done that? It was super necessary.
Is that what that dude said?
Yep. They said, you hit him with some extra there. And he said, super necessary.
Nice.
So the guy that got knocked out is kind of a trumper, kind of an asshole. So to me, lots of people are a little celebratory, especially he talks shit like weirdly anti homoerotic kind of like, he's like the only way you're going to beat me is crotch sniffing me and stuff like that. And so this guy came out, knocked him out cold.
What round was that?
This is round 2.
Okay.
After wrestled him up first round, which eventually probably led to this because Masvidal didn't want to get wrestled up anymore. The second round, he wanted to win this round, and probably thought to drop his hands just a little because he dips. If you see how much he dips here. So question though is, which one's worse? This leg break that we just saw, or this head trauma? Now Masvidal particularly is only second KO loss, but you see these guys start going down this road. Chuck Liddell is, because I was a huge fan while he was coming up, and he was the baddest dude.
Yeah.
And then a couple knockouts, and all of a sudden he can't take a punch. Next thing you know, he's losing to Tito Ortiz, which just shows you how far.
Was kind of like the first real famous MMA fighter.
Yes. Yeah, I'd say so, especially in the States. That's kind of him and Tito. I think kind of their rivalry is when I started paying attention. I was in a band and our guitar player would invite us over, and those were the fights when they were starting to fight. So I think, Chuck was the main dude, and Tito was right there as well.
So let me ask you a couple questions. One, the guy that just got knocked out here, what were his injuries? Did he sustain any injuries, concussion, or anything like that? Did he recover? I'm assuming he didn't.
I mean,
life.
No, he was fine, completely lucid. Probably hasn't. He goes out, so he does have a concussion. But I mean, he probably has a headache, but he's lucid. He's fine.
Yeah.
The question is that long term effects there.
Long term effects would be the one that concerns me. So to answer your question, who Are we saying who is it worse for in terms of the fighters, like long term, or is it just which one looks worse?
Well, I believe it was Brendan Schaub who I saw the first bring it up, who's a personality in the area, former fighter, now comedian and YouTube guy. And he was I basically saying, I think, like, which one would you rather be? Who would you rather be? The guy that gets the
Right.
temporary leg break, horrible pain, or the guy that possibly down the road, gets some sort of, brain
Oh,
injury
wow.
or yeah. And that's tough because, again, to us, we can sit down and talk about it like logically, but the internet is like ripping stupid, dumb jocks thinking that like getting knocked out's worse than the leg break. He was basically saying, I'll take the leg break any day, man. That knockout was brutal. And even though
Yeah.
Masvidal is only his second time getting knocked out like that, I mean, how many times can you do that without? Chuck Liddell is punch drunk.
Yeah,
This
I
happens
would
to the
say
people we love in the sport.
since I don't fight, I'm a lover and a runner, not a fighter.
Yeah, yeah.
I think I would take my chances because it would only happen once of getting knocked out, as opposed to having my leg broken and have to have a plate in it or a rod.
Absolutely.
Because you
I've
have
gotten
that,
head kick knocked out.
I'm gonna take the.
I would not trade it in a million years for that horrible leg break. Oh my God. Because I'm not a fighter. Yeah, maybe as a fighter, maybe Chris Weidman says, I would have rather gotten knocked out for sure. I mean, he definitely says that. So, I mean, I don't see how you could. It is the worst, but like three of them in a month?
Yeah, I'm risking it because I don't want to get struck by lightning in the rod in my leg. I don't want to have any complications in walking. I'm going to take my chances with potential long-term health issues.
I mean, the airport's going to be a pain in the ass now.
Right.
You're going to have to show them your scar. They're going to be like, oh, Chris Weidman, yeah, you're good. Keep going. Keep going.
His recovery might be a little bit longer than a concussion, I think.
Oh, certainly. They said 8 weeks before you can walk again.
Yeah.
I believe. So, yeah.
No thanks. No thanks. I don't want to go through the rehab. I don't want to do any of that.
Yeah. I mean, like, if 20 years down the road, you're like, okay, Masvidal can't remember his kid's name. Chris is totally fine. Then you're like, okay, yeah, I get it. That's a tough decision to make. But yeah, certainly I think Masvidal's healthy enough, hasn't had the history. So maybe, it's definitely you take that knockout and you heal the brain up. But yeah, that it's too brutal. That's like, you're going to have not CT, but you're going to have like PST from that leg injury. I don't know how you can't go back into a fight and have that. Yeah. A PST. Yeah. PTSD. Thank you. Because as a fighter, I mean, Anderson Silva did it, but he, again, was never the same. It's a tough thing to recover from mentally. You don't throw kicks.
Which one of the people that knocked out is better?
Say that again.
Who's better? The person who is more of a seasoned fighter? The person who's broke their leg or the person who got knocked out?
Ooh.
Like, whose career is? I mean, the guy that got his leg broke? Is he really good?
They're both really good, but I think I guess you'd say Weidman's better because he's a former middleweight champ. He beat Anderson Silva for the first time by knockout, and
it's a bigger loss. His injury.
It is for a way, especially since I think he was on thinner ice career-wise, more losses, that sort of thing. Whereas Masvidal's never been a belt holder. He's made his name fighting in the streets of Florida, but with Kimbo. Like, you can go on YouTube and find him. He lied about his age to get in these.
Kimbo never really panned out, huh?
It didn't in the way everyone thought, but I think it did in some ways. I mean, it did make some promoters some money.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, and so for whatever.
He had his 15 minutes. I mean, that's cool. He
exactly.
Some sweet street fighting videos, got a nice rise.
Yeah.
And then.
Yeah, and he's in those. Masvidal is in those.
I think I still have a video of that knockout. Wow. That was the guy with the purple hair that knocked out Kimbo Slice. It was on Strike Force.
Yeah, it's his name is Pazalewski, something like that. Yeah, I know. I remember it's Seth Pazl.
Good memory.
Yeah. Well, I remember because that was a huge hyped up fight, and Seth was a karate guy, and I remember the people in the know were like, "Oh, they put him against the Seth guy as like a wolf, but this dude's can scrap, and sure enough, catches him with like a counter right hand. I remember that because I was like, oh.
Yep. And he was just as shocked as everybody else.
Yeah,
Running around the
exactly.
ring, he's like, "Oh, it worked! I kicked his ass."
Yeah, our coach always used to say, "Hey, if you win, act like you knew it was going to happen."
Yeah.
He did not like people going, "Oh," it was funny. But yeah, so I agree. You got to take the knockout and heal up. He's going to be able to fight in like a couple months. Chris is out for a long time, and then when he comes back and starts being able to do, his therapy, physical therapy, I mean, still he's got another few weeks, I think, until he's ready to fight, if he can ever fight again. So yeah. All right, well, that's pretty much it. And then we go to free time.
Seeing it, it was cool bringing up the videos and being able to see them and share them, so the audience can see them too. I like that.
Yeah, I like that.
If I try to do that, if I try to bring up a web source or anything, I have to have someone else do it.
Well, what I have been doing for I was doing some dry runs, and so what I will do in the future is record this in OBS so I can just play it as a file.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I've been doing. But since this was all kind of late,
that's a good idea.
Yeah, it takes a couple extra minutes to prep, but not having to deal with clicking in the middle and worried about ads and that kind of shit, like stuff used to happen in like the streaming piles and weird news. I'm like, this is so much more kind of streamlined.
I forgot about weird news. That was fun as hell too. You got some cool stories for that.
I did, man. Again, it was like, maybe because I'm a creator, I need pats on the back, man. I need someone, you can't expect it, but goddamn, do I need it to know, because I have all these ideas.
It's so harsh because they'll just be like, they say whatever they want, or they just don't respond,
or don't say anything.
Yeah.
And that's about everyone. I mean, job offers. I had a huge job opportunity to host some gaming shows for Xbox, and this was like $100K a year job. I was stoked. I got an interview, didn't get the job. Asked multiple people in the interview and the HR, like, I'd love to just get 2 minutes or just a text explanation, email. What is it that you were looking for that I didn't have? I want to work on myself. I cannot get an answer from these people.
Yeah.
I'm like, God, don't you appreciate someone that's like, wants to better themselves and wants to, give you what they want? But damn, I just cannot get an answer from people sometimes, and it gets frustrating.
They can't. A lot of times, companies can't.
Yeah.
Because anything that they say can be used as a lawsuit. So you could.
And how do you mean?
Because the person.
Like, I'm going to say they discriminated against me or some shit. Oh, that's sad.
Yep.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, that's why HR offices. I mean, they can't. And I just know that from being a manager for several nonprofits. You learn a lot, about what you can and can't say when you let someone go.
That's cool. All right, man. Well, yeah, that's it. Have you heard of the Vera Project?
No.
Okay, I'm not sure how. I guess it's like just a local music nonprofit. And they're doing something with a couple fellows who are involved in the local arts but haven't streamed before. So I'm part of Northwest Art Streaming Hub, or NASH, and we're teaming up with the Vera Project, local nonprofit music thing, to teach these kids and walk them through and help them out with these first streams. So they're doing a whole show. Mm-hmm. Each of them get to do their own show, and then we do like a showcase of all their skills at the end. And I'm part of that, helping them teach. I'm going to be like on the back end live, walking them through. Yep. So I just wanted to mention that live to everyone to look forward to that and check out the Vera Project, especially if you're in the Seattle area. And thank you again, John, for joining me.
Sure. And yeah, I would use D-Buzz if I were you to promote your show, and then to also put up the VOD versions. The more you stay active in the Hive community, the more followers you get and upvotes and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But that's it. Other than that, thanks for having me on. Cool
Perfect.
To be on the Web Gauntlet. Thanks for letting me restream it.
Hell yeah, of course. Yeah, we'll do this again once I get a little more.
My upvotes?
Say again?
Do you want 30% of my upvotes sent to your Shawn S. Porter account?
Sure, I'll take it.
Is that a good
Hive?
Is that a good percentage?
I love it. Fine.
Okay, so if I get 25 cents, you're going to get 30% of that.
Rolling in it. Okay.
All right, man. Cool show.
Yeah, man,
I
we'll
look
have
forward
you
to
on
seeing a
again
couple other
soon.
ones. Yeah, let me know if you're going to be having any of the other Steaming Pile cohorts. I'll be sure to tune in and comment and stuff on YouTube.
Absolutely, yeah. We'll get together and schedule some kind of panel thing, some kind of group meetup too. So
Okay.
cool. All right, man.
All right,
Take
brother.
care and
Yep.
see you later.
See ya.
All right, and we're off. Yeah, so I mean that was good. I appreciate you being patient.